with liberty and justice for all.
I would like a motion for approval of the agenda. Someone? Is there a second? Second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes 4-0. Let the record be shown Mr. Nina has not arrived yet. Oh, he said, okay, he'll be here soon. 1B, recognition of outgoing board president, Ms. Trustee Urias. Oh, Dr. Cora.
Thank you, President Urias. I want to share just the rest of the board before we get to the organization of the board. I just want to mention some things. One, Ms. Urias served as the California School Board Association delegate. 10 years. She's also served on the California School Board Association Legislative Committee without rules.
Oh, that's when
1 year. Has also served as St. Paul Union High School District Board member from 2002 to unification. Lastly, Mrs. Urias has served as a board member on St. Paul Union High School District in 2012. This is Mrs. Urias' second term serving as board president. As board president, Mrs. Urias has worked side by side with board members to provide leadership group and verifier, power outages, transition to trustee areas, screening of board meetings, approval of the dual language immersion program, enrollment of the agriculture center, flex science lab at Israel Middle School, and new parking lots at Webster and Concord. We want to thank Mrs. Urias for her service as board president for the last 12 months. And I'd like to recognize you by giving you a plaque. So it reads. Presented to Christina Urias in recognition and appreciation of your service as board president of the governing board, San Paul Unified School District, December 2018 to December 2019. Congratulations, Mrs. Urias.
Thank you very much. My husband, I could want to take a picture, but it's not good. Oh. Oh. Just want to take a picture. Sure. Hello, everybody. Thank you. That's good. I do have a few words I'd like to share. And I have had a wonderful time as your board president. Not only did I rely on passion, but a whole lot of hard work and study went into making decisions. This district is doing a stupendous job in serving our kids. And I'd like to mention 3 accomplishments that this board made during this past year. Dr. Cora mentioned a few, but I'd like to mention three in particular. The number one item that I thought of was the dedication of the agricultural farm on March 30th, 2019. This farm, and you have seen it, is a magnificent farm. And it started with the vision of the high school board had back in 2012, 11. And it was maybe the brainchild of Chris Wilson, but nobody does things alone. And everybody contributed to seeing that site purchased and then developed. And that truly was a highlight for me, was finding out the opening of that farm. The second thing that I thought was very, very important that transpired this past year were the two outlet meetings that were held in late October and late September. I think that those two meetings, those two board meetings, really, well, it was led by Chrissy and the principals, and I think that it laid out just how hard all our principals and staff are working to raise student achievement. And so if you can go back to those two meetings, if you can stream it at home, and look at everything that this district is doing to improve our test scores and student achievement. Those were really highlights, true highlights. And the third thing, of course, is the dual immersion program. I think that this program will raise our test scores and bring students back to our district. There were many, many accomplishments this board accomplished, but these three in particular seem to stand out in my mind. I'd like to point out that the cooperation within the board has been the best since we unified in 2013. So a big thank you to this board for your support in making results happen. Thank you, Dr. Quirog, and all staff for the countless hours and dedication you give to our district. Thank you to my husband, Jesse Ornelas, for putting up with me and for all the nights out of the house. That I think you miss me. I don't know, maybe not. Maybe you got used to it. But I am confident that the next board president will do a fine job and continue to do what's best for our students. Thank you very much. So we will go on to number 2, annual organization of the Board of Trustees. Election of President of the Governing Board. I would like to call for a motion to open agenda item 2A for election of president. Is there a nomination? Oh. Second. So is there a nomination for president of this board?
I would like to nominate Thompson to be the vice president of the board.
I would second that motion. Are there any other nominations? If not, the nomination for the office of president are now closed. Mrs. Pam Thompson has been nominated for president of the board. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes 5-0. Pam Thompson has been elected to the office of president of the Santa Paula Unified Board. She will assume leadership of this board meeting. Thank you, sir. Like the title, huh? Gee. Great. Thank you so much for your kindness. I'd like to now call for a motion to open agenda item number 2, nomination of the vice president. Are there any nominations? I'm sorry. And I'll second it. Are there any nominations for, did you say?
No, we opened it.
Okay, okay, I can't. Okay. All right, are there any nominations for vice president?
Madam President, I would like to nominate Jerry Lee as vice president.
And is there a second?
I'll second.
All right, is there any, are there any more nominations? No, if not, I guess we should vote. Jerry Lee has been nominated for vice president of the board. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. And there are no nays, so it passes 5-0. Jerry Lee has been elected the office of the vice president of the board. Okay. I now call for a motion to open agenda item 2D. Is there a motion?
Move to open agenda item 2D. Nomination for clerk.
I'll second, please.
I know. And what does anybody want to nominate somebody? I'm a little new at this, so Lisa. Any nominations for clerk?
I nominate Michelle Colbeck.
I second that. Any other nominations? Michelle Colbeck has been nominated for clerk of the board. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. And Michelle Colbeck has been elected to the office of the clerk of the board. All right, now the election of school board representative. I now call for a motion to open agenda item 2E.
I move to open agenda item 2E, election of school board representative.
I second. Are there any nominations for the person to serve as the school board representative?
I nominate myself to serve as our school board representative.
I second. All right. Are there any other nominations? If not, the nominations for the school board representative is now closed. Tina Urias has been nominated to serve as our school board representative. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And all those against say no, nay. And there are no nays. So Tina Urias has been elected to serve as our school board representative for the Santa Paula Unified School District. I now call for a motion to approve agenda item 2F, the authorization of signatures.
So moved.
Second.
Is there any discussion? And if not, all those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. And there are none. It's approved with a 5-0 vote. Okay. Adoption of dates, times, and locations of regular board meetings. I now call for a motion to approve agenda item 2G,
the adoption of dates, times, and locations of regular board meetings.
So moved.
Second? I'll second it. Is there any discussion? If so, if not, I'd like for Mr. Dr. Ford to talk about this a little bit.
Very quickly, so to the board, you'll see the second board meeting for January, February, March, and May were listed as regular board meetings. So if there's any regular business, we can discuss it at that time. Special board meetings are sometimes limited to some of the things, not really do something we'll talk about in the special board meetings. So they're listed as regular board meetings, and that just opens it up to us being able to do one type of district business on the second board meetings.
Dr. Ford, what about June? June is when we usually pass.
Right, it's a public hearing,
So should that be a regular board meeting? Oh, there are. Oh, okay. I heard you mention it. Okay, thank you. Thank you for clarification.
Any other discussions? If not, all those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Nay? Okay, there are no opposition, so that passes 5-0. All right, now we're going to move to public comments. I'm going to read this all to you. Members of the public that wish to address the board must first complete a speaker form. Speaker forms must be submitted no later than 5 minutes prior to the topic coming up for discussion on the agenda. When addressing the Board of Trustees, please stand and be recognized by the board president. State your full name and direct your comments to the entire board. Please limit remarks to 3 minutes for all presentations unless otherwise informed. In accordance with Education Code 35145.5, the board cannot enter into a formal discussion or make a decision on any matter not on the agenda for this meeting. And please be mindful of the 3-minute rule. Lorenzo Morata.
Good evening. Good evening. First of all, good evening, newly elected board president and council. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And thanks to the board, thanks to the quorum. My name is Lorenzo Morata, and I'm here on behalf of Santa Paula Latino Council to congratulate, the newly elected president, but to also thank our board president, Tina Almeida, for the many years of service. I believe that you have now served for more than 18 years, if I'm not mistaken. And I'm sure that your leadership has been felt and has been appreciated. And I know that you have quite a bit of gas left to go because this board needs the expertise. So thank you for your services. I want to thank the entire board, and I wish the entire board a very happy holiday season. A couple of things. One, I want to thank all of you for your support at our Santa Paula Latino Council annual event. I know that you had it in person, but the district was independent. District administration was independent, but the end was independent. And we appreciate your support. We had a wonderful event. We had Michael Victoria, we recognized for her wonderful review. We had Dr. Robin Glenn, we recognized for her work in the area of education. We had 12 standing students, although fathers
Fernandez. By the way, during the course of the week,
my college people from the head office extended pretty much an offer to work with students to work, do an internship at the office, and help the government. And we were very, very impressed with the background of these two outstanding students have been able to really put together. And there's no so thank you for your support, and the Field Hall, thank you for making it as part of the district activities as well. But on your work, another important thing, I'm here to invite all of you to our third annual Martin Luther King tribute. We will be hosting this event on Sunday, January 19th, at St. Paul's Episcopal Church. As information, anything I'd like to ask, please consider proving to have posters posted at the schools. I'll give you a copy once we have them available, but I'll be behind a letter as we not only participate, but support them. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Morales. All right, the next thing on the agenda is presentation. Oh, I'm sorry. There are cookies and I believe water in the back if you would like to get something sorted out. Next. All right, next is a presentation. First, interim financial report for 2019-2020. The positive certification is being presented to the Board of Trustees for approval.
Thank you, President Thompson. As the board knows, we have a board budget approved, and off that board budget, we've been working on the first part of the school year, and then Mr. Shesky and your staff give you an update, and today's kind of the update as to where we are first interim. So I will have Mr. Shesky take it from here and share with you in public where we're on the first interim report. Mr. Shesky.
And Dr. Cora. Good. Working. Good evening, board. I'm here tonight to present our first interim report. That's the district's first opportunity from the adopted budget to revise the budget with any changes that have happened since almost 6 months ago. So that's a long time in the budget world. So a lot of things have happened. So tonight we're going to take a look at the assumptions that were incorporated into the interim report and the multi-year projection. I'm going to take you through some changes from the adopted budget, and then we'll put side by side the adopted budget in the first interim. And then we'll look at changes to the multi-year projection based off of what we know now. And we're going to look at some next steps and open it up for questions from the board. I feel like there might be glasses here. Okay, these are assumptions that are incorporated into the multi-year projection. You can see the 3-year in the column. We're going to start with enrollment. As of right now, we pretty much certified CalPAD. We had to uncertify and we're going to recertify again. I don't think there'll be much, if any, change, but enrollment as of CBED's day this year was 5,145 students, which was a decline from last year, about 2.4%. When we were here at adopted budget time, we estimated about a 2%, and in subsequent years, a 1 and a 1%. At this point, what we're doing is we're just going to go ahead and assume 2% across all years to be, hopefully we're being conservative. Since we are in decline, districts, for revenue purposes, are afforded a higher of the prior year or the current year ADA for our revenue from the state. Since we are in decline, we will be funded on prior year ADA. But here you can see what our actual projected P2 will be for this year and the 2 subsequent years. And then what our funded ADA is below that, which again is going to be our prior year. And you can see this year's number and actual move to funded in the next column from 1920 to 2021. This year's COLA is 3.26. And in the out years, we've budgeted 3% and 2.8% respectively. There's been some discussion at the state level, and there'll be information coming out in January from the governor's proposal, but COLA could possibly come in lower in the 1%, 1 point something percent range, which again, we will have to incorporate into our second interim. What we've experienced this year is a slight decline in our unduplicated pupils. Those are the students that generate extra dollars in our supplemental concentration funding. We've seen us go from about 88 to 87%. Doesn't sound like a lot, but it does have an impact. So you can see the 3-year rolling average right in front of you. And as far as lotteries, we get both unrestricted and restricted funding, and we get it based off of a per ADA amount, and that's listed there. So unrestricted, we estimate about $151 per ADA, and for restricted, $53 per ADA. For utilities, we've incorporated a 5% increase across the board for all utilities. We've also incorporated the recent water rate increase approved by the city that will go into effect January 1st of this coming year. And below that, you can see our FTE counts by year by group. So here's our narrative on our changes from adopted budget. As I alluded to on the last slide, we did have a decline in our unduplicated pupils. That does have an effect current year on our supplemental concentration funding by approximately $200,000. Federal revenues, we saw an increase of about $100,000, and that's directly related to Medi-Cal administrative activities or law money that we receive year to year. It is kind of like a reimbursement situation, so we aren't guaranteed funding from year to year or the amount. So that's something we don't budget until we receive it. And then state revenues, we saw an increase of about $650,000, actually technically $666,000, and that was one-time preschool funds from the state that they're actually giving us to us in our unrestricted funds and not restricting it. So that's helped us out in the current year, one time. Local revenues, we saw an increase of approximately $900,000. That's due to a number of additions to the budget. And we were closing the books over the summer. That's when we get our third and fourth quarter interest earnings from the prior year. And our actual interest rate increased significantly, which means we earn more money on our money. So we ended last year with more interest earnings, and now we're able to build that into the current year and subsequent years. We also received this year at the beginning of the year a one-time dividend from the JPA of about $300,000, so that's incorporated in the current year only. We also have our final year of our DOJ grant, reimbursement grant. We've incorporated about an estimated $300,000 reimbursement. That's going to cover our SROs and some other safety expenses that we have in our budget. We are in the process of hopefully getting an award letter to extend that 3 more years. At the time that we receive that actual award, we will incorporate it into the multi-year projection. We also receive annually CalSTRS refunds. It's related the money to the district, but the district receives refunds from CalSTRS now, and it just passes right through to our employees. And it has to do with pension reform and issues that occur there. And we also receive ergonomics and safety credit money from our GPA. Again, as we have expenses, we budget reimbursement from there. So from July 1st till now, we've had about $70,000 in expenditures, so we expect to receive $70,000 in reimbursement. Finally, we have our contributions, so that's money that the unrestricted budget is pushing over to the restricted side, programs that aren't necessarily covering all their costs. We did see a significant increase in some special education costs this year, and that's directly related to the increase in contributions. Okay, for the expenditure side of the budget, we had about a $935,000 increase to salaries and benefits. I would say primarily due to negotiated settlements with all groups, but it also accounts for placement at the beginning of the year of new employees in step and column in new positions. When we're doing the adopted budget, we're estimating where we think they might fall. At this point, we know where we place people. So we make those adjustments. Supplies and services have an increase of approximately $700,000. This is primarily due to budgeting carryover from the LCAP and from discretionary type budgets. dollars that weren't spent last year that were set aside to be spent this year. We've got other outgo, which again reflects an increase of $150,000 for additional special education excess costs. These are costs associated with students that are likely county programs. And finally, we saw an increase to indirect costs of approximately $60,000, and that's related to budgeting carryover and restricted programs. So as we don't spend our Title I funds in the prior year, we budget again in the new year, and we get to collect indirect on those expenditures. So you'll see our indirect go up by 14 over 2. Okay, so here we have the side by side. Of note, this is just the unrestricted budget. And again, you'll see all the things that we just talked about in the previous slide reflected in numbers. So I'll direct you to total revenues on the left side under adopted budget. It's approximately $54 million. If you scan over to the right under first interim, you're going to see $54,600,000 approximately. So we show an increase overall of about $600,000. That's the ups and downs from the 2 slides previous when we talked about all the changes in revenue. So the net impact is a positive $600,000. Next, if we can look down towards total expenditures, at adopted budget, we were at about just shy of $55.5 million. Current year, we're estimated to be at just below $2 million, $57.2 million. Again, that reflects all the increases from the previous slide in expenditures due to the settlement, placement of current employees, and budgeting carryover from the prior year. If we look at the next line down, this net increase decrease, you can see at adopted budget, we were estimating to just spend approximately $1.4 million. Currently, we're at about just shy of $2.6 million. The good news is we picked up money when we closed the books, but there are a number of dollars we didn't spend that we anticipated spending. So instead of ending the year at $15.3 million, we actually ended at just over $16.3 million. So when you look at the end of the day, in the current year, our total net change in ending fund balance was minimal. But we can show the increased expenditures, and that will be going on in future years, which you will see on the next slide. Okay. So here's our multi-year projection. We've already looked at the 19-20 year, which is the current year, and in the multi-year projection, we add 2 subsequent years. When we're projecting, we're putting forward what we know now and just extrapolating it out into 2 future years. So if I could direct your attention again to total revenues. In the 2021 school year, you can see we dropped down to $53 million from the prior year. It's about a $1.6 million drop. Again, we have a number of items budgeted in the current year for revenue that are not expected to go out into the future. A dividend payment from the JPA of $300,000. If we don't receive the Department of Justice grant, it's another $300,000. We had a $666,000 one-time preschool funding that isn't expected to come again, hence one time. So just those 3 items together is $1.2 million in ongoing revenue that isn't ongoing. So that kind of accounts for the dip. And then you can see in the next year we go up maybe $200,000. Bear in mind, we're projecting a 2% decline in enrollment. So that's taking away that growth for us, even though we have a COLA embedded. If we could jump down now, just above total expenditures, you can see a line with blue writing. It's called Other Adjustments, Supplemental Concentration Expenditures. As I talked about earlier, our unduplicated people count is going down, which directly correlates to the amount of supplemental concentration dollars we earn. This year, there's a lot of positions in our LCAP, and when we do a settlement, that increases it. We tried to reduce some areas, but we still weren't able to reduce enough to match the revenue we're actually going to receive this year. And then when I look out into the next year, and I compare what we're spending this year to what we're going to receive next year, I show a difference of about $543,000.
Okay.
I put that in there as a negative adjustment with the assumption that we will make
I
those
hear you. I
reductions
know
in
what
the
it is.
LTAP actions and
Okay.
services. And that was the section that our advisory committee will bring all those changes forward in the normal progression.
See where it's on the
LTAP.
video.
You can see the next year, again, we continue to decline, we're gonna get a little less
See,
supplemental
they're
concentration
talking
dollars,
to the left.
just shy of 80,000 more dollars that we need to look at reducing.
It's coming in.
Only in LTAP actions and services. Okay, so right below that, then you can look at total expenditures. And you can see that from this year to next year, there really isn't much change, but I put in a reduction already of $500, almost $50,000. And in the next year, you can see that it jumps to $58 million. And then probably the most important area is the next line below with the red figures. That's the net increase decrease for what we are deficit spending. So in the current year, again, it's about 2.5. And next year, it's estimated about 4.2 million and jumping to almost 5 million in the final year. Of note, not in the adopted budget, but included in the first interim, I worked with the Assistant Supervisor Services, and we identified a multi-year textbook adoption schedule based off of what we've already adopted and what remains to be adopted, and we looked at all the years and tried to come up with a natural cycle. Current year, we have $800,000 budgeted for textbooks. In the next 2 years, we're estimating we might need $1.2 million. That's already in the multi-year projection. So that's part of the change that you're seeing right now from adopted budget, why it's increased so much, along with a number of other factors. After this 21-22 school year, that textbook cycle we're estimating will plateau and flatten out a bit, and we're hoping, again, there's kind of a whole new world. We don't know if we're going to go digital textbooks in the future, what that looks like, but we're estimating that we will set aside about $750,000 a year after the 21-22 school year. So we'll see that go down slightly in the multi-year projection when we add one more year. Obviously, deficit spending is going to be eroding our reserves. You can see that we're starting the current year with $16.3 million, that is actual, and we estimate to end the final year just shy of $5 million, or 8%. That's about a 6% annual decrease in reserves year over year. And if we just do the math, we can see if we go one more year, we really don't have enough money to cover that next year. So we know that we need to make some changes and address those issues. In November, we presented the strategic planning presentation, and one of the final slides on that was the timeline. So in January, we're going to have the governor's proposal, which will be for next year's adopted budget. They'll be giving us the COLA, whether or not, what the economic outlook is for the state, so on and so forth, so we can start building our adopted budget for next year, as well as it gives us information to incorporate into our second interim report. Staff said we will be coming back in January also with our proposed recommendations and reductions proposed, and then in February we hope to have our final recommendations presented to the board. And then in March I will again be coming back and doing the second interim report. Hopefully I will be able to incorporate some cost saving measures that have been approved by the board to move forward with. We are currently certifying positive because we can show that we have enough funds to sustain our current year +2. That's what our certification is certifying. I want to caution the board that if we make no changes, and if in fact in January COLA does go down, that's a cut to our projected revenues off the top. It is possible that we might not show a positive reserve in that second year out. If that's the case, we would have to do a qualified certification. That's where we're at. But again, we will be coming back in January with some recommendations.
Mrs. Jessica, can you go to the endpoint slide to look at the projection? This is a perfect time for the board to ask any questions. I think we're going to be looking at projections and where we're at this year, what it looks like for next year, the following year. Because after the presentation, we're going into next year. excited that comes to the opportunity to sit into the questions that you just I can answer this time.
I'd just like to, just so the public understands, is that when the LCAP money came available originally, we were warned about that this day would come, but no one actually took it serious. And so we are now facing the day of recognizing that the money is going to quit. And therefore, you can see that most important, that increased fee, that's called deficit spending, and we have to stop the train because 11.8 million in 3 years puts us in the poorhouse. Therefore, we can't just make minor changes. We're going to have to make very, very strong changes. So please, as we move forward, coming in January, just go back to this, and in 3 years we will be broke if we don't change it.
I just want to add to Mrs. Kolbeck's comment on how important this is for the public to know about the deficit spending and that there is going to have to be major cuts. And I look forward to January on some ideas and where staff is thinking that these cuts would be suggested.
Any other questions? Mrs. Chester, I want to say thank you very much for your work putting this together. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Alright, so the staff recommends Board of Trustees review and consider
Microphone.
I'm sorry, I'll do it over.
That's okay.
Staff recommends the Board of Trustees review and consider approving the interim report for 2019, 2020 with a positive certification. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Okay. Is there any additional discussion? All right, let's go for the vote. All in favor? Say aye. Aye. All opposed? Passes 5-0. Right, then the next item is the second reading revision to Board Policy 1330, Community Relations, Use of School Facilities, second reading of Board Policy, second reading of Board Policy 1330, Community Relations, Use of School Facilities. And I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Torres so we can explain this.
Thank you, Ms. Thompson. To the board, as you know, we have brought this back several times, gone back to the drawing board, worked on the fees, we met with the youth presidents, we went back and did some more work. So I'm going to let Mr. Shevsky take it from here. He's heard Mr. Kevin Schmitz have done some work to try and get us to a point where it should work for everyone.
Okay, thank you. So after the November board meeting, where we had the first reading, we did meet with the leaders of the youth sports on November 21st. We got some feedback. They seemed to be appreciative of the fee reductions that were originally incorporated into the new proposed fee schedule. So we focused our attention on the other concern, which was the time at which field was available to the students and the athletes. I think we came to hopefully a good compromise. We worked with our Aspire staff and with the director of special projects, Mrs. Ramirez, and we were able to identify a solution to keep our students safe that are in Aspire, as well as make the field available at 5:30. The way it would look is each Aspire program will basically consolidate probably into the NPR single location around 5:30. And we identified that there was enough staff that we would meet our ratios in that one space with also having a staff member that could escort students back and forth to the restroom as necessary. And that's where we're at right now. The only change that's been provided for the facility use is the proposed fee schedule, which originally said 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. during the week. It's been revised to say 5:30 to 10 p.m. during the week. But everything else has remained the same.
Should we vote on this now? Any discussion? Or first, a motion? Motion? Someone? All right, any discussion?
I just want to thank Dr. Carr and staff for meeting and coming up with a compromise. I think that is very positive, especially after the reduction of fees. What else can we do to help? And there are kids, but we need to have their safety, so it seems like it's a very nice compromise. Because we had agreed, so it's very positive. Thank you.
And all the credit goes to Mr. Trustee and Mr. Schmitz. So thank you.
I have a question or clarification. What does a half hour difference mean from 5 to 5:30? I'm just wondering about that because as a coach myself and coaching these sports, I know that it's crucial time between that 5 to 5:30 start time to get practice going. So is there a reason why it's 5:30 instead of 5 o'clock? I'm just looking for some sort of clarification.
As we had our conversations, the original request was 5. There was discussions. Basically, then we started looking at what can we do with Aspire. And essentially, there was a comment that hopefully we can meet in the middle. And 5:30 was the time. Part of the discussion also was, and I don't know whether this is a fact or not, but that most coaches work during the day and probably the earliest they could meet for practice was closer to that time. That was some of the feedback we got. But again, it would be more challenging to get our Aspire students. There will be much more students at the 5 p.m. time frame to get them in one location. And so that's where we landed.
And it's really about how can we decrease the number of students so it's easier to monitor them. And then Mr. Chef's good, the closer we got to 6 o'clock and it's over, the less students that we have.
It also seems like the closer we get to spring, the more time, so then it will be, obviously, really dark at 5, but in the spring before the time change, it would help a little bit at that point.
Any questions or comments?
I'm just very appreciative that this board actually listens to our taxpayers. We can't give them everything they want, but again, we're here for the students, and those students participate in local sports are for students.
I'd like to say that I'm very pleased about this too because my grandson plays football for YFL, and so this directly affects him. And I appreciate the trouble that you guys went to trying to figure out something that would work. And we all want our students in this town to be able to access sports teams. We're not the first time the board that doesn't want that. And so we appreciate it so much. So if there's no other discussion, we're going to go to the vote, right? Okay. Do I have a motion to pass? We did that already? Okay. Okay, we're taking a vote. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? All right, and there are no nays. It passes 5-0. All right. And we are to board member comments and requests. So let's start with Ms. Coleman. All right. Moving on to Mr. Lynette. Mrs. Mead.
Mrs. Thompson, I attended the winter talent show at the high school. It was very entertaining. Again, the concert band was amazing, and how the members of the band were so involved in theater and singing and dancing, and up and down and up and down. It really was wonderful to watch the talent of our high school students, and I look forward to both the Isabel concert this coming week and the high school concert. All right, thank you. And Mrs. Yes.
Microphone.
I'd like to congratulate Mrs. Thompson for being elected for president. I know you do a good job, starting with tonight. The second thing is, Victor Torres and myself went to Police Chief Fairmont and Michelle as well, and we had a really nice time, and everybody's truly going to miss Chief McLean, but I think that his successor will also do a fine job for us. Had an opportunity to meet him a few times, and hopefully it's a smooth transition. And on March 9th, the Ventura County School Board Association will have their first meeting in 2020 for all school board members, and yes, and the topic will be on vaping. So mark your calendars for March 9th, vaping. And everybody have a happy holiday. I know you deserve that rest. And, we'll see you next year.
Thank you, Mrs. Sharias. And I'd like to second that. I hope you have a wonderful holiday season. And that concert we went to on Friday night was really fabulous. And I'd like to thank my fellow board members for putting your trust in me. I will try my very best to be the kind of board person that will help our board. And with that, I would like to adjourn to closed session. Government Code 54954.2 at the district office. Public employee dismissal release complaint. Government Code 54957. And I guess I should do this number. I'm going to call this board meeting over at 6:54.